Mega Man has had a lot of potentially amazing games canceled throughout the years, especially around 2010, where 5 Mega Man games were canceled basically all at once. So today we're going to be taking a look at these 5 Mega Man games to see if they were really worth canceling or if Capcom fumbled the bag. Also, it is still Wii Wednesday because these are the canceled Mega Man games that we want to see. So, yeah, this counts as Wii Wednesday. Alright, Mega Man had a ton of canceled games throughout the years, so which 5 specifically am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the 5 games that were canceled right around the time Keiji Inafune left Capcom to make Mighty No. 9, which is a situation we can get into in another day. The games I'm referring to are the infamous Mega Man Legends 3, the much-wanted Mega Man Star Force 4, the weird Mega Man Maverick Hunter first-person shooter game, not the PSP remake, Mega Man Online, which is very obscure and was made just for Korea, and finally Mega Man Universe, which I'll save for last. Since most of these games are pretty self-explanatory as to what they were going to be, I'm mostly going to be focusing this video on Mega Man Maverick Hunter and Mega Man Universe. But first, let's take a look at the other canceled Mega Man games. First of all, there's Mega Man Legends 3. I haven't even played the Mega Man Legends series, and this story is still depressing to me. This was canceled for basically the same reason as every other game in this video, being that Keiji Inafune left Capcom, and Capcom basically didn't know what to do with the franchise because they were already struggling financially. So, instead of announcing that they're going to take some time to reconsider the state of Mega Man and regroup their development teams to make sure they release some games that are still high quality, they just canceled everything. All 5 of the games I mentioned were developed while Keiji Inafune was still working there and were slowly canceled one by one, causing the ultimate dark age for Mega Man fans. Mega Man Legends 3 was probably the most painful blow out of all of them because they straight up blamed the fans for the game being canceled. Yeah, they didn't blame the fact that they didn't know what to do with Mega Man or that their main Mega Man guy, Keiji Inafune, left Capcom. They blamed the fans, the people who actually wanted to play the game. This is pretty unforgivable, and one of the main reasons that Mega Man Legends 3 still leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth when it's brought up over a decade later. It would be one thing if they scrapped what they had and started from scratch, but they straight up canceled the game and never released anything in the Mega Man Legends series ever again or said anything about it since. Again, I've never played Mega Man Legends, but even I know that Mega Man is stuck on the moon in Mega Man Legends 2, which is a huge cliffhanger. So why not release Mega Man Legends 3? There is still a chance they'll release it one day, as I talked about in my video on the Capcom Investor Showcase, but the fact that it was announced and far enough in development to have a demo only to be canceled and ripped right out of our hands is extremely depressing. Mega Man Star Force 4 is a similar but more obscure story. I don't know if Mega Man Star Force 4 was ever officially announced, and it definitely wasn't to the same extent as Legends 3 at the very least, but it was certainly in development in a game that Mega Man fans wanted to play. I've only ever played the first entry in the Mega Man Star Force series, so again, I'm not the biggest expert when it comes to the story here, but I really enjoyed the design of Mega Man in this game and thought the whole concept was just super cool. Honestly, Star Force Mega Man might be my favorite design of Mega Man, which is a hot take, but I can't help it, he just looks cool, guys. I mean, look at him. Look at that guy. He's cool. Not to say the other versions of Mega Man aren't cool, but anyway. Not much is even known about Star Force 4. All we have is this leaked concept art that came out around 2019, and the fact that the story was going to be more mature and aimed towards an older audience, which could have been amazing. That, paired with the concept art having wanted posters for the main character, really makes me think that this could have been an amazing game. But unfortunately, with the sales of Mega Man Star Force 3 being low, paired with the fact that once again Keiji Inafune left Capcom, this was just another game that Capcom quietly canceled. But I'm gonna be real here, guys. If this game would have ended up being as cool as it looks like it would have been, I might have been more of a Star Force fan. My subscribers know that I'm more into the Classic and X series because I love platforming games and I can't read, but Star Force always intrigued me, and despite not being able to read, I still enjoyed the first Star Force game. I didn't beat the first Star Force game, but the entire time I played, I thought everything looked super cool and I just loved the world of Mega Man Star Force. So while Mega Man Legends 3 is probably more overall depressing, especially considering how Capcom handled it, Star Force 4 might be a little more depressing personally for me. But the next canceled Mega Man game is a lot more obscure, but it still sounds like it would have been very cool. It was called Rockman Online, and it was meant to be an MMORPG released in South Korea. The story for this game was placed way in the future where all the Mega Man characters had passed away or been decommissioned or something along the lines, with the threat of Mavericks also being gone as well. well. But somehow, the Mavericks returned, so some good guys made a bunch of copies of the famous robots like Mega Man, Mega Man X, Zero, Duo, etc. And I assume you would have been able to play as whoever you wanted. Plus, since it is a MMORPG, you would have been in a big lobby with a bunch of other Mega Man characters that you'd recognize going through the same adventure. Now, fun fact, I don't live in South Korea, so if this wasn't cancelled, I probably would have never played this game, but it honestly looks really fun. I've only ever seriously gotten into one MMORPG, which was AQ Worlds back in the day, and I've spent more hours in that game than I'm willing to admit on YouTube. But if I found out there was a Mega Man version of that game that was actually good, I might have taught myself Korean just to play it. This was cancelled for similar reasons, but also because one of the main developers of this game went under in 2012, so in 2013 it was announced that this game was cancelled. Now, this game is more obscure, so it's less depressing, but if this was a game that actually got released and got released worldwide, I think this would have been a really cool and fun time for the most part. I mean, not much is known about the game, so maybe not, but I would have played it at the very least. But I'm a big Mega Man fan who just played Mega Man DOS and kind of liked it, so I guess that's not saying much. With those 3 games out of the way though, it's time to go over the 2 games that encouraged me to make this video in the first place, and we're going to start with Maverick Hunter. Now, I'll admit, as a Mega Man fan, I remember when this was announced and it made me worried, because around this time the trend for games in general was going into the first-person shooter genre. And those games can be fun, but I'm more of a Mega Man X9 type of person than a first-person reboot of the entire series type of person, so I was skeptical at best. But I still didn't want it to be cancelled, it just made me worried that we would never see another Mega Man X platformer game ever again, which we really still haven't, so I guess we got the worst of both worlds here. But anyway, looking back at this game, it actually looks super cool. It was also developed by one of the teams that worked on Metroid Prime, which I did not know at the time, and it would have made me much more optimistic. I will be completely honest here though, I do not like how Mega Man X looks in the redesign, and the fact that he shoots bullets and not like plasma or whatever is a bit off-putting too, but that aside, this game looks like it would have been a lot of fun. Plus, when I talk to my real life friends that are totally real, and I have a lot of them by the way, a lot of real life friends, it's hard to get any of them to play classic Mega Man because they're more into games like Call of Duty and Fortnite, so classic NES games in general aren't really their cup of tea. On a few occasions though, I've had my totally real friends say that it would be very cool if they made a version of Mega Man that was a first-person shooter, and after I show them Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch and they dismiss it for looking too retro, I show them this trailer to this game, and to my surprise, they always say that this looks super cool and they would be willing to play it. Back in the day when this was announced, I thought it was weird and they just didn't understand Mega Man because first of all, who sees Mega Man 8-Bit Deathmatch and just dismisses it? But also, this is much more gritty and different than anything we've ever seen in the Mega Man series before, which is part of why I was worried about this game. I mean, I guess Mega Man X Command Mission X is a little bit gritty, but I mean, compared to this, come on. But the more gameplay I see of Maverick Hunter, the more I kind of wish it released. Even if it became massively successful and Capcom decided to focus on this reboot more than platforming, I think it had the potential to be a great time and bring in a lot of new people into the Mega Man fanbase, since most gamers at the time were already playing FPS games like this anyway. On top of that, supposedly it still had a lot of the staple mechanics of Mega Man X, like stealing bosses' weapons and adding them to your arsenal, dashing, etc. Well, dashing seems to have been turned into an attack as well, but that's honestly cool. Again, I do think the design of X is a little bit weird, but it's also fitting for this type of genre, so I'm sure I could have gotten over that pretty easily if the game actually released and ended up being a fun time. It was also apparently designed by the same people who designed Iron Man's suit from the Marvel movies, which explains a lot. And real talk, he does look kind of cool with his helmet down, I will admit. It's just that weird digital face that he has gives me the heebie-jeebies. Anyway, I wouldn't call this game's cancellation as depressing as some of the others, as much as it was just a missed opportunity for Capcom. This really had the potential to be a pretty good selling game, and if they managed to add multiplayer to this game somehow, I guarantee tons of people would have played this game. But instead of any of that happening, as I'm sure you could imagine since this was being developed as Keiji Inafune Left Capcom, Capcom just canned the project. It doesn't seem like this game was super far into development story-wise, but just looking at some of the gameplay scenes makes me a little bit salty because this would have been super cool even if it was just a one-off game. I mean, look at Mega Man falling through the sky shooting those things. You can't tell me this doesn't look cool or fun. Okay, well I guess you can tell me that, but you would be wrong. But now that we've taken a look at 4 out of the 5 Mega Man games canceled around this time period, it's time to take a look at the one that I think had the most potential and has the most depressing story behind its cancellation. Of course, I'm talking about Mega Man Universe. So what is Mega Man Universe and why did I save this game for last? Well, this was originally just going to be a remake of Mega Man 2, which is my favorite Mega Man game, so I'm already on board. And while the original vision for this game was shaky at first, it ended up turning into much more than just a remake of Mega Man 2 with a huge focus on customization. The first trailer that was released shows Ryu from Street Fighter, the Ghosts and Goblins dude, and even bad box art Mega Man before that was a meme. It seems like you would have been able to play as multiple characters in this game, with Mega Man and Rockman even being two separate characters, along with bad box art Mega Man 2. Apparently, Keiji Inafune wanted to appeal to a more Western audience, so he changed the art style and had the goal of making a game that would unite the Mega Man fanbase worldwide. He said the ability to play as multiple different characters was meant to encourage creativity, and in the trailer, you can even see Mega Man change his Buster, meaning on top of having multiple characters to play as, you could even change different aspects of them. Later gameplay shows a customization screen that basically allows you to make completely custom characters both look-wise and ability-wise, which is extremely cool. Even if this was just a Mega Man 2 remake with custom characters and multiple characters to choose from, I would have been super on board with this, but it turns out this game was meant to be much more than that, hence the name Mega Man Universe and not Mega Man 2 2. There was also going to be a custom stage maker that was a lot better than the one from Mega Man Powered Up. Now, I've never played Mega Man Powered Up, but I've heard the stage builder is a little bit complicated and you could also upload instant death levels with no consequences. So the focus of the Mega Man Universe stage builder was to be a major improvement on this and require players to beat their level in order to upload it. They basically had the entire formula for what Mario Maker ended up becoming, except it seemed like it was going to be even better. On top of having great customization and uploading system, you could even follow other creators to see what they made in terms of other stages, and creators who had a lot of people play and enjoy their levels would get some form of in-game currency that would allow them to unlock more things in the game. The concept of this just seems amazing. A remake of Mega Man 2 with multiple Capcom characters available and playable, completely custom characters on top of that, and a stage builder complete with an upload and play system 5 years before Mario Maker came out. It seems like this was going to be the thing that put Mega Man back on the map and encouraged Capcom to release more Mega Man games. So how did this possibly get messed up? Well, once the initial trailer released, a bunch of game review websites were very critical of how the game looked. IGN, GameSpot, and a few others talked about how the art style looked flat and bad, and the game in general just didn't seem promising. But Keiji Inafune wasn't really bothered by this, and he said the game was meant for Mega Man fans and not reviewers. And you know what? I agree, the art style might be a bit weird, but from the trailers I've seen, this game looks amazing and I would have played the game day one if it ever came out. Plus, I've been called nitpicky for talking about things a lot more impactful than a flat art style in a lot of my videos, so I'm sure Keiji Inafune was still confident in his idea at this point. Later on though, the game released to the public at a convention, but surprisingly, it still had a bad reception. Not only did people still hate the art style, but apparently the physics of the game felt bad and not like a Mega Man game. This reaction was actually shocking to Keiji Inafune and made him go back and try to fix some of these issues. I never personally got the chance to play this game at one of the conventions, so I can't speak on whether or not the physics were actually bad, but from what I can see with the gameplay and the trailers, it doesn't look that bad to me. Obviously, you can't judge something like that purely off of looks, but it seems good enough to enjoy all the other amazing parts of this game, in my opinion. But regardless of what I think, Keiji Inafune really wanted this game to be great, especially since it was his goal to appeal to Western audiences, after Capcom seemed to be making less and less money. At some point during this new development time where he was fixing the bugs and making the physics better, he also had the idea to add 2-player co-op to the game, which would have been amazing. The only problem is Capcom apparently did not have the development power to implement something like this into the game, so he had to depend on another random game development company to implement this feature. Except it turns out they were in way over their head and were only chosen because they were the cheapest option. Lots of people blame Keiji Inafune for this, but honestly, I think it would have been an amazing feature considering how great this game was already going to be, and if Capcom just put more money in the Mega Man budget, this probably would not have been a problem. But it of course did end up becoming a problem. With the game getting a bad rap online, development becoming more and more of a problem, and Keiji Inafune's plans of getting a more Western audience seeming to fail, he quit Capcom. There's probably some more stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about, but this was the point where he quit Capcom and then blasted them online for various reasons. Of course, we all know the sad reality of what happened to all the Mega Man games being developed once Keiji Inafune quit Capcom, but Mega Man Universe was already extremely far in development and almost done. Even if they had to scrap the online multiplayer co-op idea, they had an almost finished game on their hands, so surely Capcom at least tried to finish this, right? Well, they did, at least they did try. Someone else had to be appointed to be the lead for this project, but with all the bad reviews it was getting online, mixed with the multiplayer disaster and the complaints about the art style, people just got more and more fed up with the project as a whole, and like every other game in this video, it ended up getting cancelled. And this to me is the one that hurts the most. Sure, unlike Legends 3, they at least didn't blame the fans despite the bad reviews online actually having an effect on the game, unlike with Legends 3, but with the game so far in development at this point, why would Capcom not just delay it and try to regroup? If you're going to delay and try to regroup any of these Mega Man games that got cancelled, this should have been the one. It appealed to a wide audience, it was a Mega Man 2 remake, and it was Mario Maker 5 years before Mario Maker released, which ended up being one of the most popular Mario games of all time. Plus, it was Mega Man, which is better and more fun than Mario. Now, there is the fan-made Mega Man Maker that you can get online for free, luckily, and this game is amazing and I would highly recommend it to anyone who is a Mega Man fan. I will eventually make a video on Mega Man Maker, but there's so much to that game and I don't want to rush a video like that, so it'll have to wait. But regardless, it doesn't really take away the pain of losing Mega Man Universe. This had the most potential to be amazing out of all of these cancelled games, but because of the bad rap it got online, the small budget Capcom had at the time, and Keiji Inafune finally being fed up and leaving the company, it just got scrapped, never to be seen again. If it wasn't so far in development, I might be a little bit less upset, but I mean, come on, this game looks finished. Some people even got a chance to play it. But Capcom will now never release this game, just like every other game in this video, so we just have to sit here and think about what could have happened instead of the Mega Man Dark Age that ensued shortly after this. Luckily, again, we do at least have Mega Man Maker, which again is amazing, but that's not an official Capcom game, and we shouldn't have to rely on the fans to do Capcom's job, even if the fans probably did a better job than Capcom would have. And hey, Capcom, if Mega Man X Corruption actually releases one day and is before Mega Man X9, you're really gonna have to pick up the pace, because the fans are destroying you out here in your own game. You shouldn't be being outdone by fans like this. Look at Mega Man X Corruption. Sure, the game might not ever release, but this is more than what we have for Mega Man X9. Step your game up, Capcom. Come on, we want to play Mega Man. So those were the cancelled Mega Man games that led to one of Mega Man's darkest ages in the entire franchise. There were some more cancelled Mega Man games that happened around different times, and I'll cover those one day if you guys really want to see that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video as always, at least as much as I would have enjoyed playing some of these cancelled games. I mean, I'll never forgive Capcom for not releasing some of these games. Unless, of course, they release Mega Man X9, in which case, maybe I will. But you'll have to see, Capcom. You're not on my good side right now after making this video. But you know what will put you on my good side? Releasing Mega Man X9. Come on, Mega Man X Corruption, just buy that game. Just buy Mega Man X Corruption, release it, and then be like, oh yeah, we made this. It's Mega Man X9. I don't care.